bear me and keeping my patience.
ये करना पड़ेगा, वो तो करना पड़ेगा, वो तो बनता है.
Actually, I'm sometimes unstoppable.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. Welcome back to Aur Bata. My name is Sanjana. I have got with me today Miss Sanjana Mohan, who is the managing director of CIMGLOBAL. Welcome, welcome. But the thing is, we are going to talk about a lot more than just her professional life today. That's right. That's because she's writing a book that we're going to talk to her about. We're also going to talk to her about the different things that have inspired her to write this book, and we're also going to talk about how her professional life has progressed and how she covers it in the book. Thank you so much for doing this. This is amazing.
I have never been on such platforms. As that I had been at Sticky or another number of platforms where I've been talking, but this one-on-one interview at this quarantine period is amazing.
I want to know, first of all, how has your lockdown been? What has been going on in the company? Kya chal raha hai? Because we want to hear from a professional what has gone wrong this entire time, or what has gone right for that matter.
The company is into conferences. We do third-party conferences. We do consulting. So, considering physical, touch with people and coming up with the events or conferences which are a gathering, a conglomerate at a certain place, it becomes difficult at such period, But yes, nevertheless, we have tried to do such conferences through, through online and we have got a new ray of light that there can be a second way to do things, a new way to do things. And once this lockdown is over, obviously we have a conventional method, and obviously now we have another methods also, which we are currently doing. So it's always, there is a possibility you have to see the positive side.
Sure.
So there are challenges for every sector now. Quite a sector are not performing, and small and medium enterprise, they are really bleeding. So it's really a big concern. But company like CIMGLOBAL Consulting, where I head this company, and here we are to tell people that how to reduce the cost and how to focus on what your the vision of the company is, and to bring profitability. So we are here helping them in sales and marketing consulting. We are talking about the ROI through digital marketing. We create different reports. We create sector reports. We create company reports, and through these reports, the person comes to know, the company comes to know what is the scenario. Normally, small and medium enterprise, they are not that visionary as static companies are.
Sure.
So here we play a very, very important role, where we tell them that, okay, you have to see whether the sector you are, what is the growth path in coming 5 years. So we create a report around it. What are your competitors doing? What you are not doing, and what you should do? Where are you lacking? Which is the gray area in your thing. And we also tell them how to grow 360 degree. It's not just being local. It's not being local, or we just tell them how to go globally. Through online, through another events or the conferences. So there are a 360 degree thing where as a consultant we support them.
Sure.
So we have smart experts in different sectors who come and talk to them, and we decide how to proceed further as per their budgets, as per their constraints, and as per the visions and the methodology to follow to run the company. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, especially after this whole lockdown thing, where every MSME basically needs that safety net, right? Of how to go about branding. The biggest part, I think, like you mentioned, is analysis, right? Analytical aspect of what the market is doing before, after. I don't know if you guys really understand how important this is, but as an entrepreneur, मेरे को पता है मेरी जान बच सकती है इन चीजों से. ये तो खैर हो गई about your professional life. Let's talk about your book, because that is very interesting. You're doing a lot of things professionally. You've got a lovely family. We'll probably be talking about that as well. But now with all these different projects, right? You have chosen a method of documenting it through your book, or you've chosen a method of letting out your inner emotions through the book. Talk to us a little bit about the book. We want to know about it. What's it called? What's it about?
So, see, if you any frame you watch in the Facebook, which has a family, happy family,
Mhm.
it's not always, it takes a lot of efforts to create that frame, and I'm blessed with a 14-year-old son and a 8-year-old daughter. My husband is progressing. He's being supported. He's backed up by my support. He's supporting me, and we are a happy family. But then creating this frame, it takes a lot of, it doesn't mean that it has been so smooth or I'm the blessed one to be.
Sure.
So it takes a lot of effort, there had been quite a challenges in my married life. There had been a lot of challenges in my professional life, and as well as while, in a very early stage, I lost my dad. So from there, what today I am, there are number of hindrances which I have not thought that they are difficulties, but challenges that one-on-one I had crossed and come up. So now, being a woman who has 2 kids and then, running a professional career along with, I won't say it's a very, very difficult task. It's not an easy task as well.
Sure.
Fine. So this book is about a relation between 2 people and what are the challenges they face. And normally nowadays, when I talk about, the title of my novel is How to Get Man Back in Your Life. So if you just listen the title, it will say how to get back the man in your life. It can be vice versa as well. But because a woman writer is writing, and it is in a semi-autobiography of my life, which I am writing. I have been writing, a number of articles. I've been interviewing a number of people. I just interviewed Mr. Tony Abbott, the ex-Prime Minister of Australia. I had been interviewing a number of people, quite influential people of Hong Kong, Dubai. I had been editor-in-chief for 3 magazines. So it was always writing has been always my passion throughout my life. And I thought, why not, trying just being a journalist or a writer? How about being a novelist? And this is my first novel, which is actually going to help number of women. If we see the survey, as I'm a researcher, we see the survey, there is 88% of the men who are either committed or married to the women have an extramarital affair. And I'm talking the survey which can be a little more higher. I am talking at the 88%. If talking about the women, there are 77% of the women who are again having the same thing. They're having the extramarital affair. It's very interesting to know that the maximum women who have extramarital affairs are housewives. So this is really something, a knock for all the coming generations, as well as the people who are living under one roof, but they are living a separate life. They are not living a same life. They have their own roots. They have their own, just the roof is one, but they are living a separate life. Or either they're cheating their partners. So it is not that we should die with guilt with this. We need to analyze. We need to see, what are the factors, what make people do this. Why they do, it's just not about one factor. There are a number of factors, but the main factor is, they get bored up with one person and they find excitement outside their married life. And this is a very, very important factor, because if you're not excited in your life, you would never do good in your professional career. You would have a broken family. You would have a sad home. You would, be stressed out. So having a happiness and excitement, it should happen wherever it happens. But now I'm not saying you go and have an extramarital affair.
Yeah.
But now considering that this novel is for the people who think that this novel is about people, for the women who are staying under one roof, but they're leading a separate life, the couples. This book is about the people who are in the conventional thought process that sacrifices and this is my husband and I have to stay whole my life with this. Just carrying the sadness is a happy marriage, and they devote their whole life doing it, compromising it. No, this is a book where I will be telling all the women as well as men that there can be life, there can be a beautiful life which you can create, getting your partner as a friend. And there's a journey, there's a story behind. There's a beautiful story of, two people who are in love with each other, but they can't marry. The girl gets married to another person, Again, they have kids, and this girl gets fascinated with something else. So there is and this is reality.
Right.
People don't, yeah, like I said, people don't just accept the reality. And sometimes people also get into extramarital affair, and either they just break their marriages, or they compromise, or they will die for guilt that I have done something wrong with my partner and I cannot be together again. And they also feel that there is no forgiving between this.
Mm-hmm.
If any relation, as I'm talking about relation works with a number of factors.
Right.
It is about understanding. It's about forgiving. It is about why the person, if one person has an affair, the other person is also, equally responsible for letting it happen.
Sure.
And if it has happened, the partner should come and talk about why these things happened. And it's quite normal. You get attracted towards another person. If you're in a professional life, it happens. And a housewife, if we talk about the survey, as I mentioned, how about a housewife who doesn't go and work? Normally people say, ladkiyon ko kaam nahi karna chahiye. They should not work outside. How about the working woman? When the man is working, what are you into now? So I'm not saying every man and woman is into it, but yes, there is a survey and it speaks it all.
So tell us about the personal inspiration. Like you said, this is like a semi-biography, right? So tell us about your story. We want to hear that.
Well, you have to wait for this novel, but yes, I would just tell something about my life. If I talk about, always a personality you are, it is because of what has happened in your personal and professional career. Everything goes side by side. You have to, how beautiful you have to have a professional career and how beautiful you want to have a personal life. This only depends on the person you are. What thought process you carry behind it. How do you evaluate things? If I see my professional career, I had lots of planning behind. It's not just randomly I had been, picking up I had listened my heart. I had opted for the paths which were less chosen. I knew what are my strengths and weaknesses. I had evaluated myself. And if I talk about, as we are just, running towards the novel, so this, if I talk about my life, I had lost my dad at an early age. And then when a girl, at the age of 20 years, 19, 20 years, when, you lose your, when you need maximum your parents' support and guidance, then it becomes all the more you have a responsibility. But, the way we were being, grown in an environment, so we had all that freedom. Especially I was, in that case, I was lucky enough to have that freedom to explore myself. And from the day I lost my dad, the 7th day of his death, I picked my bags and I opted for the job, whatever was available for me. So this is a very, very strong step. If I see my son, I can't expect him to do the same. But I had, handled myself very strongly that I would not be burdened on my family. As such, my father was, from an army background, and my mother is a very, very strong personality. But still, I had that no, I don't want to be a burden. And it's a big family. I have 3 sisters, two brothers who are well settled and they're doing best in their life. But that stage, it was very, very difficult. I had, put on my strength together now that there's no looking back. I'd been studying, I had been working, I'd been staying in the working woman hostel, initial days of my life. I never turned back at my home. I never stayed. I stayed alone. So, and then building your professional career, it was not that easy. There are so many hurdles. And seeing a woman, individual woman who looks, look fine, who looks nice, people get, there is always a third angle where a woman has to face in the professional career. And I had faced, and you speak, people, if you see a woman growing, there can be some other ways of growing. So it always was never a lift for me. It was always a step-by-step ways to, go ahead. If it was a lift, I would have been somewhere else. But I am fine. I'm good. When I look into the mirror, when you see your reflection, I feel a good aura around me. I feel very, very comfortable. Whatever you draft, sometimes it doesn't happen. So I got married to a person who was my boss. And I talk about everything. This is very interesting. And then I fall in love with that person. And it's not that, once you have fallen in love, you cannot fall in love again. You are a human being and you can fall in love. This is quite a fact. People should, and you fall in love again and again. And it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop because, but yes, the priorities, your way of looking things. So that's why, it's a beautiful way the life wraps up, and now the modernization has, okay, we can marry, but we should not have kids, The thing changes step by step. Even if you have a boyfriend, it's not a problem. You can see whether the commitment is there. And sometimes maximum, when as a writer, I feel the first person in your life is always, it's maximum 90%. I will not say 100%. It's 90% in attraction and infatuation. You should never see that person, as a man of your life. But still, I would say there are 10% people lucky who can think about it. But yes, there is time that this first person cannot be your man of the life. So this novel will, take you around how to, whether the person is the right person you should be married to, and this will take you through a story in an interesting pattern. And then I got married to another person who I fell in love. I had beautiful 2 kids, and how the journey goes.
There are certain things you did in your early ages where you wouldn't expect your kids to do it. So my question to you is basically, now that the roles are reversed, now that you are a parent, right? How do you view their upbringing? What do you think about, all these issues that are happening personally and professionally in your life obviously are sort of directly or indirectly impacting the kids, and obviously in one way, one shape or form, these kids will someday have to grow up, take their own decisions, right? Would you teach them out of your life? Do you think there are experiences they can pick up from there, or do you want something very different from them? What's your take on that?
This is a very, very interesting question. And, every parent, every mother, every, the guardian should hear this out. Number of times it happens, whatever happened in your life, you want to speak up to your kids and you want to tell them, see, I struggled so much. And that's why I am here where I am. And our parents, we keep listening their stories and they tell us it's good to talk about you. But we evolved. We are where according to the circumstances, according to the luxuries or the necessities we had around, or very less necessity I had around. So I evolved. I cannot snatch the luxuries which currently I can give. It doesn't mean your child has now the luxuries and all the attention of your parents and guidance means that he has to do well and he has the complete, and you expect him to be a, polished diamond in front of you. No, he has his own challenges. Even having everything, even born with a silver spoon, they have challenges. Every person has a challenge. It can be a different challenge, but they have the challenges. So I cannot say, Dekho, I didn't get what you are getting, so you should be better off. Obviously, you want your kid to be better than yourself, what a person you are. But you cannot, force them to do, or you cannot be angry on them that, see, if I was at your place, I would have, I would have done much better. It is not that way. So whatever they have, we should give them all that what we can give them as a parent, and we should expect them to come up with their own persona. I don't want my daughter to be Sanjana Mohan. I don't want my son to be Sanjana. I want them to have their own personalities, their own thought process, and both of them have a very different thought process. If I see, and I'm very happy as they have grown, because I have given, and my both kids are opposite to each other. So I don't want them to replica me. I never tell them, be me. No, you have to be as you are, yourself. And I don't want to snatch what they have. And I don't want to, मेरे पास लैपटॉप नहीं था या मेरे पास ये फैसिलिटीज नहीं थी तो आपके पास नहीं होनी चाहिए, आपको खुद ट्राई करना चाहिए ये होने के लिए. No, please give them what best you can give them, and tell them that I had this struggle, but I'm giving you this, and I know you will do best out of it. So our job as a parent, as a guardian, is to guide them, not to conclude their life, not to tell them what they have to do. Let them do the mistakes. Even they can make mistakes. We did mistakes, we reached here. They would be doing their own mistakes, and their type of mistakes would be, a learning for the coming generation.
Right.
Yeah.
ये तो इंडियन पेरेंट्स की आदत रहती है ना, ये हम तो पता है हमारे जमाने में कितने मील चलकर पानी लेकर आते थे, ये वही है, राइट? होता है, ये हर घर में होता है. बट द अदर थिंग इज ऑफ कोर्स योर किड्स विल गेट टू रीड योर लाइफ थ्रू योर आईज. कई बार क्या होता है, बच्चे रिलेट नहीं कर पाते माँ बाप की क्या लाइफ रहती है अपार्ट फ्रॉम बीइंग अ पेरेंट. देयर आर लॉट ऑफ डिफरेंट थिंग्स. देयर आर सिबलिंग टू
They
समवन, देयर आर
don't
वाइफ
even
टू
want to
समवन.
hear.
वो तो सुनना ही नहीं है, सुनना ही नहीं है. बट वंस व्हेन मैच्योरिटी हिट, राइट, एंड दे हैव योर बुक, दे गोना रीड इट एंड बी लाइक, अच्छा ये भी लाइफ थी, ये भी था जो मुझे शायद उस समय इतना समझ में नहीं आया होगा, बट देयर वर स्ट्रगल्स. एंड ऑब्वियसली दीज आर स्ट्रगल्स आई कैन लर्न फ्रॉम. मेरी अगर अलग स्ट्रगल्स होंगी, बट मॉम की स्ट्रगल से मैं ज्यादा ये ना कर सकूं. So that's a very interesting perspective. The other thing, of course, I've been wanting to ask you is, ये इतना कुछ हो रहा है, how the hell are you balancing your personal and professional life? I have, ये पता है मेरे को काफी like रद्दर सा क्वेश्चन है जो हर प्रोफेशनल को पूछा जाता है.
No, no.
But if you hear your own story, right, like if you watch this interview after I put it out, you'll listen to how emotionally available you have been to actually think about each and every little relationship that you've actually fulfilled. And at the same time, you're heading CIM Global Consultancy. So मेरे को ये बताओ, how have you done this? ये कहाँ से आई है इतनी शक्ति? And what are your principles? How do you go about doing this?
Oh, well, just during this lockdown, number of now this is a beautiful time actually when you can, strengthen your relation with your partner. You can create a bonding with your kids. But then, people say कि ये सुनने में अच्छा लगता है, but it is an overdose of kids. It's too much, seeing your husband. You don't have a self time. There are a number of things. You don't communicate. You don't want to communicate. You just see, communicating doesn't mean that खाना खा लिया, पानी पी लिया, नहा लिया, what you have. It's not about this. Communication is when you sit with your partner and talk about each other. Now, communication sometimes is also when I sit with my partner and I talk about myself. No, it's not a communication. Talking about myself is not a communication. Talking about him. Communication is when you talk about the opposite person and the opposite person talks about you. Then you actually know what you have for each other in your mind. You actually come to know, okay, he notices these factors about me and I feel these factors about him. Here in the communication, first there is no communication. Then there is expectation. Expectation for what? Which you have never communicated. And then you want him to think of कि मैंने ऐसा सोचा था, तुम्हें करना चाहिए था, but you have not done. Every partner needs to come and speak up. I want this. It's better to say, I want this and I expect this and, let's do this. ये इतना 3 लाइनें बोल देंगे तो बहुत सारी प्रॉब्लम्स जो फैमिली लाइफ की हैं, ऐसा नहीं है. At the time of perfectionist, I have faced this problem and I have come out of it and now I follow these rules and these rules should be there. The second important thing is you should have rules for your family. There are certain rules, If a father is saying something to the kid, the mother says, नहीं, इसको कुछ मत बोलो, ये तो मेरा बेटा है. You have to set certain rules. If the parents should be one party, you have to set certain rules. If I speak, you have not to say a single word. Even if you feel wrong, that I have done something wrong to the kid, come and say individually to me, not in front of it. There are rules. I'm not saying like this rule. You have to set certain rules. As I have very beautiful rules in my house. Like number 1 rule, whenever we have all our meals together, at least during quarantine on the dining area. And also there is a quiz between my kids, which my husband, and it's a very nice way. And the quiz is always around certain aspects of life. It is just not about journal knowledge. If it is going to be a Mother's Day, it will be around my life. I was so, shocked to know that my daughter was not knowing which school I am from. She was not. So my kids should know about me as well. So there should be that interaction where your kid gets connected, with school my mom studied, how was her, how did she grew, what was her subject. So these are the things which actually we have. हमारे पास कुछ रहा ही नहीं. हमारी तो 18 साल हो गए शादी को, 25 साल हो गए शादी को. We have nothing to discuss. It's going bore. You have to create that entertainment, excitement, in the family. Every day should be, as you say, aaj kya banega? Every day you cannot eat the same thing. So you should know that what is going to happen today. Something interesting. Let's do this today. Let's have, let's have a karaoke for 2 hours. Let's have a quiz for 2 hours. Let's play Scrabble for. So this is a family bonding, and there should be also, it doesn't mean कि बच्चों के साथ. There should also be a personal time for the partners. They
Of
can
course.
speak out, they can be friends. And third is also understanding, you know, not to just come and snap on each other. So again, the communication plays a role, but sometimes जब आप snap करते हो अकेले में बैठ के सोचोगे तो आपको सच में लगेगा कि पार्टनर की गलती तो थी नहीं. I just snapped over him. I just snapped, over her. So there are many factors which, when you evaluate, when you sit and you have to be a good listener to your partner, and there should be no competition with the partner.
Yeah.
You should be happy. You be happy for each other. This is happening in our current scenario. There is a competition spirit, which because the woman also wants to do. अरे मैं भी कर सकती हूँ. A man wants to do. अरे he has his own way. He's a different person. You have competition with the whole world. Go and do it the whole world. Why with the man you married? Why you love? Why you want to do competition with him? Just stop doing competition with your partner. This is a really, there are many fights and there are many divorces on this, that what he thinks he can only do, I can't do. This is not going to help.
Right.
He is your partner. He is the person who will be helping you, supporting you wherever you go weak. And wherever he goes weak, you need to support him. I feel, and this is a message to all the men out there, I feel every woman wants to have his or her own identity.
Mm-hmm.
Every woman, even if she says I don't, she wants. This is a message I really want to give, and they don't have that fire and energy. Every woman doesn't have a fire and energy. Somebody needs some push. Somebody needs, when you talk about your team, sometimes some of the team members, they perform, some don't perform. It doesn't mean they are thrown out.
Right.
You either back them, you support them, you push them. So there are different, phases. One, every person in this earth, whoever exists, a human being, wants their own identity. Either just in praise, appreciation, and identity. Identity, which doesn't mean that she has to be a CEO or MD of a company. Identity, there, whatever minuscule difference she can create in a home, in a house, in his life, should be appreciated and should be, pushed. Whatever. Every person has a quality. They should, yeah. So if I talk about such people, and I also see quite a lot families where the wife is into middle management or lower management and the husband is doing great, where a wife can always take him as a mentor, tell him that these are the things which, if you do, you will be reaching heights. He can be, the person can be mentored. There are places where the men are in the middle management and the wives are at the top management.
Right.
Where again, then again the men gets, very much humiliated. No, she's earning more than me. There is so much, differences which happen where a person, now, yes, it is fine because the men, as it's the patriarchy has been going on for life. Now we cannot change overnight. We cannot change कि तुम्हारे dad ऐसे सोचते थे पर तुम ऐसा नहीं सोचो. He has also grown in the same family. He would progress, but he would still stick to some of the step by step. Probably the coming generations would make us change. You cannot change a person in one twist. That abhi change ho jao. You should not be like your dad. How can he has to be somewhere like his dad? He has been grown by his dad. How can he not be like his dad? If you are grown, So we need to understand, and we need to, even if he thinks that he is being humiliated, if the woman is earning more, the woman should give a space by asking, like I tell you, like saying certain things which need a muscle energy, or certain work at home, that please, I'm not unable to do this. Sometimes women who are at the top positions and their husbands are not doing that great in their career, they feel that they're the man of the house and they can do anything in this world. No, it doesn't happen like this. No, it doesn't happen. You have to give them importance that, yes, these are the things I can't do without you. And where I am, and it's always any woman whoever has progressed in this life is because of the support of the partner. Here, if I have progressed in my life, it's all support of my partner. And it goes vice versa. Wherever he is, I take the credit. Because if you have made a happy home, then only the person has progressed. Then only he has done good. If he has taken care of the kids, then only, you have peace around.
I think this is more important simply because it's coming from a professional. It's coming from someone who succeeded professionally. And when someone like that comes out and says, listen, you need a happy family or you're not going to get where I am, it just means a lot, right? Because now people, when we talk about careers, when they talk about progressing in their professional life, seldom talk about family. They mostly talk about what skills I have, what I do, मेरा क्या मैं किस चीज में अच्छा हूँ, मुझे क्या position चाहिए, whatever. But they rarely talk about the support system they have at home. I think that's the key word, support system, right? If you have a bad support system, no matter how good a warrior you are, ठीक है, खुले मैदान में तुम्हें अकेला छोड़ देंगे, तुम कुछ नहीं कर पाओगे, right? That's the whole idea, and it means a lot coming from you. So please tell us when the book is coming out. कुछ पहली कॉपी इधर आएगी, I know that.
It would be launched in November and December, and I would be this year it would be launched. And this this book is not for just being tagging myself as novelist. I really wanted to do something for the society, and bringing your vulnerable side to the public is very difficult for people. I want to contribute this to the women who really feel sometimes, it becomes difficult for them to choose what they have to. Sometimes they choose career over their family. Sometimes they choose family over their career. This book will help them and tell them. And sometimes they die in guilt that they had been cheating on their husbands. No, you have not to die in guilt. You have to come up. Every men and women make mistakes, and you have to nothing. And I have a quote for everybody. And this quote is like, today, the imperfection is the new perfection. So please be imperfect. If you are not imperfect, you would not do mistakes. If you're not imperfect, nobody would appreciate you. Everything appreciated in this word is imperfect. So never try to be that perfect person. There are many ways how to be a better person, be a person where when you stand in front of the mirror, you like yourself and create a positive aura, and that positivity brings happiness around you. See, my both kids, my son has turned out to be a music composer, and he has launched his okay, let's make this very interesting.
Yes, let's do that.
Second album today. The first album was Unraveled by Logical.ut, and which is on all the platforms. It's on Apple, Pandora, it's on Spotify, every platform it is.
You know what? Links down there. Yeah. Links down there, and let's get them on the channel, both of them, by the way.
Surely. And the second album he has released today, Sid. So it's a really marked day for him. And my daughter, who is 8 years, she's the youngest author, and she has already launched her first a story, because she's an animal lover, and this is and she has more sympathy towards dog. And Sarah and Brownie is on Amazon Kindle. Please go and find the link. And this is completely written by him. And these all creativity happens when you create a happy home. When the kids are being nurtured, and they are getting the positivity, and they're getting the energy from positive, the parents supporting them. This automatically comes, and every child is special, and every child has something to give. And this is important. I'm not telling something, high about my kids, but if they have done, this is seriously something great in such a young age. They have, marked themselves, and it feels really proud.
That's amazing. Happy family, proud parents, amazing kids. I have not had this kind of an interview on the channel ever. So this is one of a kind. I'm going to put your LinkedIn and all down there in the description. Guys, go check her profile out. She's got her own website. I'm going to put that as well. I'm going to put the kids' book as well as the music down there as well. Go check it out.
Please.
Right? Thank you so much for doing this. Like, share, subscribe करो. Please. नहीं तो इसी की बुक उठा के तो मैं मारूंगा सही में. Thank you so much once again, Sanjana.
Thank you. Amazing. Thank you so much.
And I'm going to see you guys next video. Bye.